Never been to New York, so she wants to see all the tourist spots, the, Statue of Liberty and Empire State Building.
Oh, those places. There's always so many people and they're being corralled like cattle. And, there's always some idiot who goes, moo.
Well, if it annoys you so much, then why do you do it?
Thanks so much for taking me to all those places. I had a great time.
Oh, I'm glad. Listen, I want to apologize about Chandler, though. I just did not see this coming.
New York is awesome.
What is with you?
Yeah, I've been to these places before, but I've never really seen them,
Yeah, you miss a lot when you're mooing.
Let's go to a Broadway show. Cats!
How's it going, everybody? So, just doing a quick little vinyl pickups video here. Mainly doing this one because of the specific collection that it was, that it all came from. So Dylan at Noble Records had his 4th anniversary sale last week. I wasn't able to get over there on Saturday, but I went by the next day. I went by on Sunday, and there was still a lot left. The main thing that he had going on there was a collection that he had bought. Most of you have probably seen the video, but if you haven't seen the video, I'll link it down in my description below. Basically, it was a guy by the name of Chris Whitson, and he died as a young man in his early 20s. This collection, this record collection of his, had been sitting for like basically 30 years and staying with his family. Just a crazy collection. We're talking early 90s, and that was before the internet, right? So like any of us can just like watch vinyl community videos and learn about obscure psych or out there jazz, experimental krautrock and ambient music and all this stuff, and we can just like endlessly expand our listening, habits, but just by watching vinyl community videos. But we also have the internet at our fingertips, and maybe even just one vinyl community video inspires you to go and search for endless amounts of other things. This is the early 90s, so this was before Al Gore invented the internet. And this, to find out about kind of wildly out there music, or to expand your horizons beyond just like listening to rock radio or whatever was on MTV, you kind of had to like know the right people or meet the right people. Now, some people, there were like some guiding lights back then in the early 90s. I remember Henry Rollins talking about expanding your horizons and finding other music on 120 Minutes when he was guest hosting, I guess he was the host of 120 Minutes at the time. And I remember him talking about that.
MTV does cover a lot of music. We got to give them that. Big thumbs up for the Big M. But, there's a lot of other music out there that no one necessarily does videos for, like Charlie Parker, the great saxophone player. Or a guy like King Sunny Ade. You ever heard of him? He's from Nigeria. He plays wonderful music.
Either way, doesn't really matter. It's a pretty amazing collection that this guy had at such a young age. And this is what I got. I'm just going to quickly go through them. This was the first one that I saw in the front, in the bin in the front. As I was flipping through, this was the first one that I was like, yep, that definitely getting that. This is a first pressing mono of Otis Redding's Pain in My Heart on Atco Records. Now, Otis Redding records are not that hard to find, but this one, particularly in mono, is you don't see this every day. You don't even see this one every day online. And I got it home and I played it, and it's, the sleeve's in really decent shape, but there's no splits or anything. It's a nice sleeve, It's got the little hole punch. It plays VG Parts of it come like the noise goes out a little bit and it's VG plus, but it's a strong VG. And again, a mono first pressing. So I was glad to add this to my collection. There were a lot of blues records left. There were a lot of those kind of 80s chess masters, you know, some of the London Sessions, a couple of the London Sessions albums were there, but there was a lot of Muddy Waters. There was a lot of blues. I could have, if I had endless amounts of money, I could have walked away with, you know, 10 other Blight blues records, but I did pick up these two. This is Mississippi Fred McDowell. This is it's not a first. I think it's like a second pressing, but still on Art Hooley. See the Art Hooley label there. And this jacket's like beat up. There's like a little bit of like water damage, just like taped along the seams. But the record it's VG plus. It plays absolutely great. And so really excited to add this one to my collection. Some Delta blues, some nice finger picking there. There was also this Jimmy Fast Fingers Dawkins on Delmark. Usually can't go wrong with anything on the Delmark label. So I've seen this one, and I've seen several people show this record over the years. So I grabbed that one. Oh, this was another blues one. I kind of had it stacked. Speaking of those Chess Records albums, this is the Super Super Blues Band. Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and Bo Diddley. So earlier this year, I did a response to 6-inch pianist John. He did like a Show Me Your Funk VC kind of thing. So I responded, and I showed the limited amount of funk records that I had. And I mentioned in that video that I wish I had more Parliament and Funkadelic records. So ever since that video, I've actually kind of made it a mission to get more of the Parliament and the Funkadelic records into my collection, even as expensive as they are now. But I've been able to find some. I've been able to add some and find some decent deals. So there were a couple there. This Parliament record, The Clones of Dr. Funkenstein from 1976, and Funkadelic's Hardcore Jollies, also from 1976. It had this post-it note on the front for Chris's album. I don't know, but I love how Dylan just left that on there. That adds the personal touch of the collector. There wasn't as much jazz as I had hoped. There was this one, and this was one that I was really hoping would still be there, and sure enough it was. Interstellar Space, John Coltrane, the posthumous release on Impulse with Rashid Ali on drums. Yeah, super stoked to have this one. Let me also show, so basically Dylan on all of these records on the outer sleeve, he had this sticker. But then he also included one on the inside the jacket sleeve on all the records. So you could add them to your own sleeves if you wanted to replace those, which you do, those awful fold over flap, sticky flap sleeves that he has. But anyway, totally doing this off the cuff. Just wanted to kind of show what I had picked up there at that anniversary sale. Gonna do another video about 2023 releases, some more 2023 releases that I've picked up. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys what I was able to get out of that Chris Whitson collection. So I hope everybody's doing well. We'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
Digital gramophone makes no sense.